Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. Today, we're joining you from Baby Yoda's Life Day celebration featuring all-you-can-eat frog legs. I don't know. That's what I came up with, you guys.
Good. Man, all right, I just woke up.
He's a happy camper. So, I mean, I don't know how much we're going to get to take part in that. He tends to monopolize the buffet table, but
it's all right. You know, I just like it when he does the magic hand thing for the sauce.
yeah, okay. Anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio. Once again, no response from Brandon. Useless on the radio.
I'm sorry. Just,
Your look of disgust is not visible, Brandon.
Would it make you feel better if we told you that they had smuggled blue macaroons?
Blue macaroons for dessert, Brandon.
No, dude, I told you I didn't want to do any more children's parties after the last one.
Anyway, okay, so here we are, Geek Tank Radio, a couple weeks outside of Christmas. Honestly, if you've never seen the Star Wars quote-unquote Christmas special, you owe it to yourself, if nothing else, just to see what life was like 40 years ago.
Let's see how bad it was.
Art Carney is a space junk dealer. The lady that played Maude, I don't know.
You mean B. Arthur?
B. Arthur, and then basically everybody speaking.
I'm pulling your geek card now.
Well, B. Arthur doesn't qualify as geek references, but
talk to Deadpool about it.
Okay. But anyway, that's something we would recommend. So, and I don't even think I introduced this. This is the worst opening I've ever given. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass. I think what's going to happen today is, we are in the holiday season, and let's face it, there are things that are both geeky and Christmassy.
That is true.
There are things that are debated, and maybe today we do finally unpack that debate of whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not. People are of two minds about it. And people always, Die Hard is one of those movies that everybody has a strong feeling about. Nobody's passive when it comes to their opinions about Die Hard.
No, not even remotely.
So we'll do that. And then a little later, I guess we're going to talk about Hawkeye, right?
Which is also a Christmas viewing.
Yeah. And we'll give basically maybe some of our suggested viewing. I don't know. We may throw in little surprises here and there, but before we get to that, you guys, I just wanted to throw in another one of my PSAs because I'm progressing through Lost in Space season 3, which Brandon has lost interest in somehow.
I lost interest in before the second season ever came out.
I don't understand because I think it's really it's nothing, folks, at all like the original Lost in Space. It's nothing like that second movie. And it's just different, and it's got very fleshed out characters, and you're going to hate Dr. Smith. If you thought you hated Dr. Smith in the original, yeah, you know. And then the worst part is when Dr. Smith occasionally does something good, you hate her even more because you're like, I don't want her to redeem herself or anything like that. But what I was going to get at is I think Judy Robinson needs her own. We agree on that, right, Brandon? Judy Robinson was a great character.
Judy Robinson was probably the best character out of the ones that, the episodes I actually saw.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they want to focus on, Dr. Smith and the robot and Will. I don't care about any of those. They can't make me care about those characters, and I think that's why I fell off so early in the second season.
Huh, okay. Well, Judy Robinson is heavily featured here, and she's more, spoiler people, she's the captain of a ship now because basically she's in charge of a ship full of the youth. Basically, they had to separate in order to save the kids, more or less. And she's 18 years old. She's kicking butt. She's a cool character. So since nobody here wants to talk about Lost in Space with me, I would ask our dear listeners to check it out so you can at least we could talk about it on Facebook.
Joe will talk to you on Facebook, or if you set up a Discord and teach him how to use it.
Discord? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. All these newfangled things.
These newfangled things that have been out for 5 or 10 years, yeah.
Okay. Hey, I did want to ask you before we get into any of our Christmas discussions about what to watch. Have you guys seen any noteworthy things on the internet that are fun Christmas YouTube shots? Even some of these little 2-minute videos of like, I don't know, Christmas decorations gone wrong or something. What's the best one you got out there?
I'm not allowed to mention the one that made me laugh hysterically from the other day because it's political.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. You got anything that's not non-political or?
No.
I mean, we've seen the Clark Griswold.
It's been a little dry. Most of the videos I've seen recently are things that have been recycled every year. I haven't seen anything new.
Well, I think the pandemic let everybody actually have time to think about what they were going to do this year. I've seen some great displays. I've seen some great displays hooked up to music. But of course, it's nothing that hasn't already been done.
Also, keep an eye on your local hardware stores for those signs, letting people know that there's no such thing as a reverse current extension cord.
Okay.
Because that's because someone tried.
Reverse current. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't even know why you'd want one of those. So, but
it all comes down to the fact that they set their Christmas lights up backwards, and therefore they want something that will run, with the closest thing to the outlet.
I do have one beef before we go to break. If you're out there trying to create the next YouTube viral video or the next TikTok type thing, I'm tired of these things that are contrived. We know that a lot of this stuff is staged, and we want authenticity. Well, you're going to get authenticity here on Geek Tank Radio, or we'll die trying. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this season of Hawkeye over on Disney Plus.
Geek Tank Radio.
It's treason, then.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
All right, Max, yeah.
How is it I'm not allowed to get political, but Palpatine can?
Yeah. He's always, okay.
Because he won.
He did. Did he win? I don't know. Well, he
It's
did.
his kid.
Temporary
He
victory.
won.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass, bringing us those great rejoiners. That's a good one. I like that one, Max. So, hey, guys, before the break, actually, it doesn't matter. If you just tuned in, you'll catch up. We were just weighing in. I basically said Lost in Space Season 3. I would like to hear from people because I'm the only one here that seems to care about it. So, Max, I think, I don't even know if Max cares about it. So I'm alone. I feel lost in space.
I'm kind of in and out of it, but I do enjoy the experience. I just like how resilient those kids are.
Yeah, it's a good example for the youth of America, Brandon. I mean, we need Judy Robinson is a great role model. So is, and regardless of what you say, so is Will, Will Robinson.
And yet more of today's kids are going to gravitate towards Dr. Smith. But we can't get into that because we need at least a 6-hour show to explain it.
Okay, there's the cynical edge. All right, well, hey, let's talk about Hawkeye. So it's the new show on Disney Plus.
It's the latest thing that Joe is watching out of spite because he doesn't like any of the Marvel TV shows until 4 or 5 episodes in.
No, not true. You keep forgetting about WandaVision, and actually, I loved Loki, and Loki lost.
No. We're
going to call you out on this one.
You didn't like WandaVision until the first episode of
4.
Three.
It was the first episode where we got to see Darcy and all them investigating the Hex.
No, I didn't hate it for the same reason. No, it was confusing. That's all. I was watching it, and I wasn't sure what I was watching, but I did not hate it. And then you watch the other episodes, and you go back, and it all makes sense. But no, I didn't. No, WandaVision is the hill I'll die on.
Well, the truth of the matter is we've all found that you don't want humanity in your superhero stories. You want action.
No.
You want explosions. You want intrigue. You don't want...
I want good storytelling. That's okay. But go ahead, Brandon. We're already debating. Tell us about.
I was going to say if that was true,
feelings.
you wouldn't have whined about Falcon and Winter Soldier, which you did whine. Anyway.
Okay.
So what is it do you hate about Hawkeye?
Well, do you want to? Is that the discussion you
Hey,
want?
Joe.
That's
Joe,
where
real
we're going to
quickly.
start.
This seems like I know this isn't a Tool Talk Radio, but this seems like a point counterpoint.
I didn't say yeah. All right.
Somebody get him off the hotkeys.
Yeah, Max is having way too much fun about that. So, all right. Well, so why don't you tell us about Hawkeye? I mean, I don't want to just come right out of the gate with the negatives.
First of all, if anybody...
I don't hate everything about it, but okay.
Here's the thing. Okay. Hawkeye is the story of a beaten and battered retired Clint Barton as he tries to, find out why the Ronin suit is out there. And it's also the story of Kate Bishop, who is the ultimate fangirl who wants to be a superhero and can't seem to realize that it's not necessarily a good idea.
Yeah.
And it's Christmas time.
Right.
So, of course, Clint's got the whole thing where he's got to get back to his family in time for Christmas. You think he's going to make it? Of course he's going to make it. It's a Disney show.
Yeah, that's the big question. There's all these little things. It's like, can he make it home for Christmas? Okay, well, we know
that's the important thing.
I will tell you this: if you watch Hawkeye, and this isn't really a spoiler, but I will say when they in the first episode, I really enjoyed the fact that they showed the Battle of New York with Loki and the Chitauri invading in 2012 from the point of view of somebody that was actually in one of the buildings, like the average citizen. That was cool. And then the what do they call it? It's not the credits. What is it called at the beginning of the show?
That's still the opening credits.
The opening credits, the way they unpacked
the intro.
The way they unpacked Kate Bishop's basically history while giving the credits was pretty cool with animation, with the just like, I don't know, the artwork was cool.
Yeah, you get to basically see her growing up into the character that you've seen, when the show starts.
That was the best storytelling of the series, in my opinion.
I also just like the overall feel of, like, it reminds me an awful lot of what makes Cars 3 so good. Another great Disney thing where it's like you have the old timer or you have like the veteran with all this wisdom and everything to pass on to I guess in this case the younger Car, or in this case the younger Archer. And I love how he's kind of like passing on, like you actually see that Hawkeye is quite a resourceful superhero.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he took on that gang of the Russian gang with just a
Tracksuit
jacket,
mafia.
basically. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have any weapons, so.
Yeah, but he has no superpowers. He does not automatically heal. No. He can't fly. He can't bounce. No. And he has even trolled himself better than any other superhero with the words, "I'm fighting robots with a bow and arrow."
Right.
I mean, true. And that's the thing is, he even says it in this series. My superpower is 2 sticks. Well, when Echo says he relies too much on technology, he goes, it's really weird for somebody whose entire, repertoire is 2 sticks and a string.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell us. I don't hate the whole thing. I don't hate it. I'm just, it's starting to do some of the things that bugged me about some of the other series.
It's doing exactly in this thing, as the other series did. It does exactly what an arc in any comic series does. You have to take the moment out for the exposition. You have to take the moment out for the storytelling. We don't need, just like full-on action the entire time. Because then you end up with characters that are paper thin and only people who like them are the people who want to cosplay them.
Well, and that's a movie, by the way.
Yeah, that's a movie.
It's where you don't have any time for this stuff. Here's the intro. Here's your critter. Here's why this is the critter you like. And this is what the critter's got to solve.
But at the same time, the only reason why the Marvel films were able to do what they did in the bigger films later on was because they took the time out with that exposition in the early entries of Phase 1.
It's not like with Star Wars and everything where you get emotional whiplash where we like move from one scene to the other in like the sequels.
Yeah.
Or no, it's not just the sequels. They do that in the prequels too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, 1 minute, boom. They even do that in the original trilogy. You know that they weren't in that asteroid for 15, 20 minutes. They were there for a long period of time. Luke was actually on Dagobah for months.
Well,
but we don't see those in movies. But you have time to create a dynamic. We see Kate Bishop basically becoming, she's trying to give Hawkeye not only a partner and trying to, he sees it as her trying to replace Nat. She's also seems to be trying to replace his family, which leads to more of a conflicted character later on. These are just things that you're going to see throughout any kind of Disney series that's based on a comic book.
My thing is just about the pacing. It has really nothing to do with exposition. I actually kind of enjoy exposition. I'm not opposed to good descriptions of something. If I don't know, don't roll your eyes at me, Allan. I'm saying
we know that you love to hear somebody rattle on about the Great Hall for 45 minutes about the decorations. But if someone was to do that in the midst of a battle between the Chitauri and the Avengers, you're going to be like, oh, this the pacing is horrible.
Yeah,
it's the same thing as people who want to talk about plot holes where there aren't any.
Well, it's a good example, like in Harry Potter, in the Goblet of Fire. Harry's having dinner over at the Weasley's house, and they're saying, oh, Mad Eye Moody is coming over, and then Bill says, well, Mad Eye Moody was a great friend of my dad's. He did blah blah blah, and in a very organic way, we're getting to know Mad Eye Moody because they're talking about something, and it moves the story forward. Well, in Hawkeye, there's all this action. There's this there's a crisis. There is a premise set forward, and there is a mission to accomplish, and all of a sudden. Which this mission has a tight deadline. He has to do all this before Christmas. They have murderers chasing him down. And now we're going to sit on the couch and watch Christmas movies for the whole night and eat cookies, which has nothing to move their mission forward, which that's what bugs me.
Well,
I'm like, this has nothing to even do with it just slows the whole thing down.
But when you don't have a lead on something and you're waiting to hear back from somebody, do you go out and start the mission and end up getting completely annihilated? No.
You don't sit around and eat. You keep working on it. I mean,
Allan?
I'm sorry. That's the
I'm sorry as the only person that's ever gotten out of a ring after 12 rounds. You know what you do the next day?
Yeah.
You go sit on the couch and eat cookies.
All right.
It makes me think of the way, Joe, that you get your inspiration. Like when you're like writing for the show, coming up with ideas for the shows, the time that you get the most inspiration is when you step back from your thought and distract yourself with something else.
But who wants to watch that? It's like
apparently a lot of people.
Apparently, a lot of people, considering the fact that Loki was so well received that they had to create a second season, which they weren't originally going to do.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
You happen to be in the minority, and just like with everything else on the show, when you're in the minority, you want us to get past it really quick.
I will say this, Brandon. I'm open to being surprised because there. What did you say? There's like a magic number. We're getting 6 or 8 episodes.
There are 6 episodes of this,
and I think you always tell me I'm going to hate episode 4. I'm pretty sure that's your rule of thumb.
We're 4 deep. We've already had.
Oh no, it's about to turn on.
We've already had amazing things. We've had 2 awesome Marvel characters introduced into this, but you were probably too busy worried about Hawkeye watching Christmas movies to realize that Echo, who is the original comic book Ronin, has shown up. You don't.
Spoiler! I didn't know that.
Echo's. Joe, how many episodes have you watched?
I've watched all of them.
Okay,
up to 4,
then you know who Echo is.
I didn't know that. I didn't know she was the.
I'm not giving you a spoiler for a 20-year-old comic book story. Guess what? Jacques Duquesne, the swordsman, he actually trained Hawkeye before Hawkeye was a hero.
Okay, well, thanks, Brandon, for ruining everything. So I don't know.
Just because Joe forgot to read his comic book.
Okay. Well, okay. Anyway,
and I mean, of course, with the latest person to show up, they got in trouble for posting about it on their own Instagram account and got blocked from their own Instagram account. Because she was excited to show herself showing up in the show, but after it had aired.
If you didn't know Natasha's sister was going to show up, you're kind of clueless.
I like that thing with the pitch meeting where it's like, what's this all about? Oh, subscribe to Disney Plus.
Yeah. At the end of Black Widow, they go, so we have a mission. What's the mission? Subscribe to Disney Plus. Yep. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, your mission is to stay tuned to Geek Tank Radio because we're going to turn the corner, I hope.
Yeah, no, because we're going to fight about Die Hard now.
Okay, we're going to talk all about Die Hard. Is it a Christmas movie?
Geek Tank Radio.
I am Lur, ruler of the planet Omicron Persei 8. You are hereby conquered. Please line up in order of how much beryllium it takes to kill you.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Allan, you first. Get over there.
I love my family members.
I don't have any beryllium.
And we'll go back to...
I like how Joe's trying to figure out if beryllium... Dude, I'm not even all human. What do you want?
Beryllium? Yeah, that's true. It's going to take a lot more.
With beryllium, I'll just be able to run faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our pal Max behind the glass with one of his best rejoiners. You can't go wrong with Lur.
Two political tyrants in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, we're getting very political today, aren't we? Gosh. Okay. Well, guys, if you're just tuning in, I've already given my feelings about Hawkeye, which I don't hate it, but it's just whatever. I think Brandon and I like to just debate on it anyway. If we all agree,
I think Brandon just likes to bait you.
No.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it,
trigger.
There's certain things that Joe wants out of his superhero stuff. There's certain things I want, and usually we conflict. But when it's all said and done, I respect his opinion, even if I feel that it's wrong.
Yeah,
I mean it's good.
But at the end of the day, here's what Disney doesn't care. You both watched it.
Yeah, we both.
You were both there,
kept our
and you know what? And the more
going.
you talk about it, the more happy they are.
Go ahead.
Real quick, just to stay on the Disney Plus thing because we all bow to the mouse.
Yeah.
Have you watched Welcome to Earth yet?
We watched an episode last night. Yeah.
Dude, I want
What
to
a
do.
great title.
I want to
Welcome to Earth.
I want to do some of this stuff.
Yeah, we
I
can.
mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It's a nature show that's kind of got. Well, is it though? I mean, it's Will Smith going to the ends of the earth.
Well,
with
and just to throw it out there, also on Disney Plus, if you like Welcome to Earth, check out One Strange Rock. He narrates that, but then you get scientists and everything talking about just the planet in general.
Hey, I already
really
produce a show about eating weird food. I am all about throwing you around the planet and filming it.
yeah, there you go.
I also really like that one documentary about Jacques Cousteau. That was a really great one too.
Oh yeah.
So yes, while we will argue about Hawkeye, we love our Disney Plus.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, that was a good point because we remember when Disney Plus came out, and I can't remember what was the first must-see thing on Disney Plus.
The
What was that?
Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. Okay, so we all said, hang on, Al. We all said we're going to get the Disney Plus, and I remember the conversations specifically about, well, I'll probably watch The Mandalorian, then I'm going to cancel my subscription. Well, that was how many years ago? Because
3 years ago?
Every month I'm like, well, I think I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch WandaVision, then I'm going to cancel my Disney, and I've yet to cancel it. They know what they're doing.
And the thing is, I've put certain things that are very long shows into my watch queue, and have started watching things like Darkwing Duck, Rescue Rangers, The Simpsons. I'm never going to finish The Simpsons.
Yeah.
No, you got 20 years to go. I'm going to throw this in, and this is going to be my compliment to Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount, everybody getting into this.
Yeah.
They have really, really done a great job, and I'm going to pick on Hawkeye between the two of you. You two have a show worth debating.
Yes.
Well, that's a good point.
You have got a show where you've got a vested interest enough that you want to debate the pros and cons and values of the show that you are both enjoying for different reasons.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, Alan, because neither of us are saying, well, I'm not even going to bother watching it. We are watching it.
Yeah.
We'll
We
probably
are in
rewatch
blessed
it.
time.
We'll probably.
It's like I didn't say,
Right.
Joe, why don't you like Hawkeye? I asked what you hated about Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, honestly, if you think back, for me, I'm going to say 20 years ago into geekdom, there was a whole lot of stuff where we looked at it and went, oh, I can't believe they did that to that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe they did that. We said that repeatedly 20 years ago.
Right.
Today, honestly, you look at and certain studio heads or certain showrunners, we get excited when we see behind the scene names now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bob's doing this one. Do you remember the last 5 years of Bob at so-and-so? I can't wait to see what he does over here.
Yeah. And I mean, he's just a cinematographer. He's,
but we get excited.
like 15 years ago, it would have been like, Bob who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares? And now we get really worked up over who did the CGI, who did the makeup, who's doing the show running.
One of those names that right now that will sell me on a show no matter what is Dave Filoni.
Oh,
you see Dave Filoni as an executive
Well, if you've
producer.
got
Dave
producer, or
Filoni,
anything.
Jonathan Fab. Yeah.
Well, if you've got F or F,
Yeah.
you're pretty much going to, they could sit around and say, we animated the phone book.
Yeah.
And you would give it a couple of seasons.
Yeah. That's
Because
true.
you would just be like, Joe would be in here going, all right, I'm tired of the exposition. I'm waiting on something to blow up. But we'd still be watching it.
Well, because we know it's going to blow up.
I just have to, again, point out, for people that enjoy science fiction, fantasy, enjoyed all of these wonderful features, we are in such an amazing time. And plus now, if it's halfway decent, you can go get a pop for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I will say, I don't know about you guys. I've kept track. I've canceled HBO Max off and on. I got it. canceled it, then I started it up again so I could watch Dune and everything, and I think I just canceled it recently again. And then I could live without Hulu. I don't even care about Hulu except for like Attack on Titan and some others. But mostly, I don't think I've ever canceled Disney Plus.
I have never canceled Disney Plus. I've never canceled Netflix. I've let Hulu go away.
Yeah.
I no longer have HBO Max because if there's a movie that HBO Max has, I have a friend who I can go to his house and watch it. Or
they have it on Amazon.
Right. My newest one, though, that I don't think I will ever be able to give up is Paramount Plus.
Huh, really?
Which, they just dropped this week their live channel stuff. Where it's like, but I mean, with Paramount Plus, you get the Smithsonian Channel, you've got, Nickelodeon, you've got MTV, you've got CBS, you've got, various Paramount movies. And now that SEAL Team has gone exclusively online, I'm a huge SEAL Team fan.
Huh.
These are just shows that have sucked me in, and
Yep.
Well, then I'm going to also throw in the upcoming change that I happen to be a part of when you begin looking at services like Roku, which if you've got Wi-Fi, your TV is now probably Roku capable. There are hundreds, soon to be thousands of channels for free subscriptions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the blessing of the amount of information and the amount of material and content coming out is just astounding.
I also think of like not even like new content, but the resurrection of some old content that we might not have had access to a while back. Like, for example, there's this really cool channel that Joe's daughter subscribed to. It's called Criterion, and it's full of classical films. For example, the ones that intrigue me, of course, are Akira Kurosawa. So
she's loving that old stuff.
Diving into the Criterion library, that's a rabbit hole you can't get out of. But Joe, I'm going to tell you one that I've just recently, this past Halloween, because I wanted to be able to watch Halloween Kills, and I don't really like going and seeing slasher movies in theaters. I like to be able to sit in the dark and watch them and scare myself. But I got
He's taking notes.
But no, I got Peacock, and they've got producer cuts in a lot of episodes of Parks and Rec and The Office. They've got the super episodes for The Office. I mean, just stuff that if you only saw it when it aired on TV or in syndication, like big chunks of stuff that was cut out is now back in these episodes.
Yeah. No, I mean, there is, like Allan said, and the fact that we still, with all these choices, somehow we have not canceled Disney Plus.
No.
And I'm also going to throw in of a lot of, for some of us that are a bit of Anglophiles, it just kills me is the 1 or 2 minutes that may have gotten cut out of a show because of standards here or there, wherever.
That now are on
It's
BritBox.
put back in it, and it's shocking to have something that was okay or mediocre. They add back in this 1 minute or 2 minutes that was critical to the story.
And it's like, oh my God.
And suddenly you're like, wow, this was amazing. Yeah. And I'm going to look at Max and go, and it might have been 20, 30, 40 years ago when this aired, and we're now getting to enjoy it again.
I mean, well, going back to HBO Max, there's this Francis Ford Coppola version of The Outsiders where it's called The Complete Novel.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that. Yeah, It's like 20 minutes longer.
Yes.
And he said because it's more in keeping with the book because they changed it up a little.
It's like got the court custody battle and everything. I mean, it's just, it gets deep.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's kind of a man. I remember reading that in grade school, and then everybody's read that. I still like Rumblefish better, but the Motorcycle Boy. Anyway, I don't know how we got down this rabbit hole, but we got a lot to wrap up in our next segment, you guys. We got to talk. We got to debate whether or not Die Hard is actually a Christmas movie, and then we also want to give out a few geeky Christmas viewing recommendations, right? So I mean. We got a full show, but it is an interesting conversation, and we invite you to go to geektankradio.com. We invite you to go to the Geek Tank Radio Facebook page and give us your thoughts about all these discussions, man.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, we're on Spotify now, so guys, roll over, subscribe to us. It's free subscription. Give us a nice 5-star rating, and take us with you.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason, and there's a lot of Geek Tank
I still
material.
suggest headphones because we get loud.
Yeah, we can get loud. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar, Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and guys, we have got to stay focused. We've got holiday geekiness to bring forward.
Geek Tank Radio. News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're listening to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass. And sorry, folks, yeah, there's one more segment. We're going to get through this. But, hey, guys, as a matter of housekeeping, because we have gotten a little behind our schedule, we started talking about other matters. But we did promise people we're going to give suggested holiday viewing, and we also want to debate whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie, which I think is the more fun conversation. So I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in. I call this a geeky Christmas movie, and it's Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Sinbad.
Sinbad.
Absolutely.
It's got superheroes in it. It's got terrible acting, goofy writing, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
And you know what's really amazing? If you want to talk about it this year,
Yeah.
go to Walmart, go to the toy aisle. There are Turbo Man action figures.
Oh, tell me about. I've seen that. Yeah, and it looks like it's pretty legit, right?
Oh, I mean, it's full on licensed, perfectly down to every detail.
Okay, that's mine. Does anybody have anything else they want to chime in before we go to Die Hard?
Right. I'm not. It's not movies, but I'm a huge Community fan, and while by today's standards, Community is a little edgy, a little on the mark. I recommend it's Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas Holiday Special, which I believe is the season 2 Christmas special.
Yeah.
It's all in claymation.
Right.
They're stop motion animated.
Yeah.
The entire episode, and it's about loss and finding the meaning of Christmas, even when you're in a college community that won't allow you to recognize a religious ceremony.
Oh,
celebration.
Interesting. Okay. I have one Christmas prediction, we're going to call this. So next week, Spider-Man No Way Home comes out December 17th. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's in the theaters, so we're all going to the theaters to see this. And I predict, Brandon, that there is going to be some thread of It's a Wonderful Life in there, because Doctor Strange, I guess this isn't even a spoiler, he cast a spell where people forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, right? So he's going to more or less see his life like that. And coming out at Christmas, that's my prediction. There's going to be some storyline in there where you're going to be thinking of George Bailey.
I can
Sure
see
there
that.
is.
We'll
Okay.
see if my prediction is right. So.
All right, well, my all-time favorite Christmas viewing is, of course, Scrooged.
Yeah. No
Yes.
kid- Oh, Bill Murray. That is a good one.
You know,
Yeah.
the Ghost of Christmas Present is absolutely, if you watch for no other reason, watch Carol Kane just beat the holy bejesus out of
one
Bill
from
Murray.
Taxi. And
Oh my
she's a
gosh,
funny-
she is absolutely adorable in this.
Yes.
Scrooged is, I'm just sorry, A, it's got a killer soundtrack. B, it is probably some of Murray's best work.
It's the
I concur.
best version of A Christmas Carol, in my opinion.
It's very topical. It's very person has to learn a lesson. It's got Karen Allen in it, and it's got a cast of everybody else. And I love the media insulting.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. And it's in the 80s.
This is I have sort of a recommendation for a Christmas viewing too, if you all can find it. It'd probably be on HBO Max, but I really love that episode of the Justice League where it's the Christmas special, and there's the Flash talking to this one villain and his like arch enemy and everything, and they kind of have like a humanizing moment, or Martian Manhunter becoming more human and everything.
Oh my, that's very good, Matt. That is a great episode. The Flash, that's one of the best, and that's that original. And for my money, it's got the best theme music from any cartoon in the world. But that's a good call. I bet you could find that on YouTube, right? I mean,
You might be able to find it on YouTube, but yeah, definitely check out HBO Max if you've got it for that.
that's a good call, Max.
Kind of ironic though that we talked about how you canceled it.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get it again, Joe.
Yes,
All right.
little hint.
Well, hey, let's shift gears. The big topic of discussion that we teased all day is whether or not Die Hard.
Before we get there, I do want to say that
Okay.
my favorite Christmas movie is Gremlins.
Gremlins? Okay.
It's Gremlins. Because
It's
anything
just
where,
there.
your Christmas present may go a little wonky and
And eat you.
decimate your
And take
entire
over.
town.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about Die Hard, which
Okay.
the question is, and that's a movie. It's not even worth explaining. Everybody knows Bruce Willis. Alan Rickman, for my money, steals the whole movie.
Yes.
But so the
As
big
he does
debate,
with everything he's in.
The big debate is, we know it's an action movie, but is this a Christmas movie?
Can we call this a point counterpoint?
I don't know. If we start debating, I guess we can.
It's going to be more of a, we're going to point out why it's a Christmas music.
Why don't you do that?
I just felt like using the hotkey.
I was going to say, personally, Joe, I feel that it's a Christmas movie.
Okay, state your point, because I don't have strong feelings about that. I have a major caveat when it comes to Christmas movies. If Christmas is intricate to the plot and the reason behind why this movie's happening, then yes, John McClane would have never gone to Nakatomi Tower if Holly Gennaro was not stuck there for their Christmas party. He would have gone to her house. She would have had the divorce papers already.
Right.
They would have argued in front of the kids. He would have stormed out. He would have learned some lesson later on, and he'd come back, love his kids, sign the divorce papers, and go back to New York.
Huh.
There would not have been any action.
It'd have been Kramer versus Kramer, and it's a good life,
Right.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
But so much of this revolves around the fact that he's going out to the holidays. He's going to see his kids. He only goes to the tower because, like I said, that's where she's at. It's not like he can just go to her house. He doesn't have a key to it.
Right.
And, from there on out.
And she gets to experience all of the horror, drama, and trauma of his world.
Right.
Because she's not a police officer. She's a corporate executive.
Which in and of itself is a weird bend on the Wonderful Life scenario.
Yes.
Suddenly she comes to appreciate what he has to do.
As she watches, the one pivotal scene that leaps to my mind for Brandon's statement is when Goodenough comes around the corner and begins just slamming things into the wall and is just having a complete conniption. Holly looks over and goes, "Oh, John's still alive."
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, the only human that can make you that mad is my husband. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Well, so that does it mean so.
And I will put this out there: you can debate whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie all day long. You cannot deny that Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie because he's stuck in an airport at Christmas time and uses someone's Christmas present in their luggage to kill a man.
Well, now, Brandon,
ho.
man, this is going to get thought-provoking. This is why we really need 2 hours of Geek Tank Radio, because I don't want to go down a tangent, but I'm just going to say I'm sitting here analyzing Brandon's criteria for what makes a Christmas movie, and by that logic, you could almost say It's a Wonderful Life is not a Christmas movie.
Right, because
the
Christmas
majority of the movie has nothing to do with
Christmas itself is not intricate to the plot itself, but it all culminates on Christmas when there's a certain bit of, heavenly magic in the air, and that's when your guardian angel comes to set you on your path.
Very interesting.
I'm not a religious guy, but I can get spiritual
you
when I
get the
need
little
to.
jingle of the bells and all, so it's wonderful. But
I mean, it's definitely, Christmassy,
all right, well,
but
to
that's...
pick on Gremlins and Die Hard, you have to have the entire premise of the setup has to have the holidays.
Right.
Okay.
I kind of have a little bit of point to kind of bring in everything. So there's a difference between it being a Christmassy story, like in terms of its theme, and Christmas as a frame of it. So I bring the example of in Japanese anime, it's riddled with like Christian crosses and like all this like Christian symbolism and everything. But, I research in Japan that Christianity is really interesting to the Japanese aesthetically, but does that make their shows or anime Christian?
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, they might adopt certain themes or the look or something. But yeah, putting a Christmas tree in the background does not make it a Christmas movie. But I don't know.
Well, no, because as much as I love Batman Returns, it's not a Christmas movie. I love all the bad Tim Burton Batman movies. They're fun.
The first one was great. The second one, okay.
Well,
anyway, but
first one was kind of like talent loaded, and then I don't know what happened after that.
Well, now the Christmas movie. The Die Hard also isn't part of the theme of Christmas, the brotherhood of man and good over evil, and I don't know.
Have you seen how those Disney movies begin with the horrible murder of somebody's family? All right. I'm going to say, all right, one, I have no dog in the fight as to whether it, quote unquote, it is a Christmas movie. I don't care.
Yeah.
But you cannot extract the holiday from the movie, and in a bizarre, twisted sort of way involving blowing up stuff and burning down a building, it does have that happy little message at the end.
That is Allan's holiday fun usually.
Any movie that features the actual line in the movie that is a total punchline. We need more FBI guys.
Yeah. Okay.
The movie is very quotable, has very memorable actors. Wasn't, if you think about it, all that high tech CGI or expensive a movie.
No,
there's a lot of fight scenes,
lots of miniatures and models.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of fight scenes in an office. There's a lot of fight scenes in a warehouse. There's a lot of people sitting in a lobby. There's not a lot of, what you would consider modern expensive sets.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels fun, too,
it is.
which a Christmas movie should have some fun factor to it, even though there's death and murder and everything in it.
And, strangely enough, I find that I don't get into the diehard, is it a Christmas movie or not, debate with nearly as many people as apparently there are out there who will say unequivocally it is not. Yet I do have to explain to them that Rise of the Guardians, despite Santa being a main character, is not a Christmas movie.
Has nothing to do with it.
It's an Easter movie.
It is.
I don't know which one that is. Is that animated one?
Yeah.
It's
amazing. It's Jack Frost, man.
You have managed to not see Rise of the Guardians? It's even got Captain Kirk in it.
And I don't know what movie that one with the heat miser and the snow miser was from when we were kids.
That's
that
all
came out in the
Rankin and
50s.
Bass stuff, man.
That's a horror movie. That's not a Christmas movie.
Totally
Those things are freaky. Those things gave me nightmares.
There's
as a
plenty
kid.
of horror movies out there that are
and it was
Christmas,
a musical.
but that one's that's not a Christmas horror movie. It's just a horror movie. I agree with Joe.
Let's say any claymation, even creeping into Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Those were some pretty.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a new topic for debate maybe for next week. Is Frosty the Snowman a horror film?
Yes.
I mean,
in so many
talk about
ways.
traumatizing kids and
and he smokes.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Actually, that is something we should talk about next week. Is you look back on the
drama and trauma.
Well, you look about the classic holiday movies that we grew up with, and not just Christmas. Like The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, stuff like that. Those were very traumatic.
Or a 70s Saturday morning cartoon.
Pretty much.
That'll give you nightmares. So, well, we hope we haven't given you nightmares. And if we have, well, it's too bad. You listened of your own free will. But it's time to get out of here, folks. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
And I am Brandon Olmstead, challenging you to call Cumulus and tell him to give us a second hour.
Ooh.